Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I'll be checking Guardians of the Galaxy on my PC. I want to test ray tracing and how this laptop, how RTX 3060 mobile actually performs. Now this game is on Game Pass right now, so you can give it a try, of course, as always. And you know, the interesting thing is that I'm kind of impressed with the performance. I'm running this game at 1440p and it's running around 90, 70, 80 frames per second, at least in the ship. Now, here's the thing, what I'll do, I'll test ray tracing in the ship because there's a lot of, you know, reflective surfaces and that kind of stuff, so it makes sense to do it over here. And then we will fly to this, you know, kind of zone or whatever, right? And you know, because there's like a more open section of the game, so just to, you know, give a performance a test. So as you can see, like just moving around the ship, I'm getting around 70 frames per second, native 1440p, as I said. No tricks, no upscaling, nothing like that. So it's not actually, that's not too bad, I must say. As you can see, there's a number of like reflective surfaces like this monitor or for example these doors. I mean, they keep opening up for me. I need to find a door that I can't get in. Well, it seems like all these doors opens up for me. Well, actually these two. Anyway, so you can see a little bit of reflections there, but they are not accurate, if you know what I mean. Like even if I get into the one of the rooms, you will see in a minute. So let's just check what performance is going to be like when I turn on ray tracing. So there's two ray tracing options, ray tracing reflections, so that will affect reflections. Also, there's also ray trace transparent reflections. So we're talking about like, you know, windows and you know, not necessarily mirrors. So let me turn on this one. Let's leave it to high. I'm running this game on RTX 3060, so it's not the most capable graphics card, of course. And there you go. I'm getting around 55, 60 frames per second. So let's check these reflections now. You can literally see even in this panel in front of me that it's reflecting what's in the corridor, right? Like, and it's pretty accurate representation. Same on the doors, right? These are not screen space reflections that we've seen before. Also, well, that's a mirror. I mean, mirror is actually pretty much the same. So you can see very accurate reflections of the lights and stuff, like red lights and stuff. You can see, I can see myself in these reflections as well. If I would see myself if these doors wouldn't keep opening, so you can see, like, I can see myself in the actual reflections of that panel as well. There's this reflective, there's more reflect. Oh no, he's going to be talking to me anyway. Let's just skip it. Yeah, come on. So yeah, I mean, even without DLSS, the performance is okay. I mean, this is just a ship, so it's not like open world environment, but you can see, like, even on the doors, the reflections, they actually look pretty dope, right? Obviously, I could bump up the reflections. You can see the kind of like reflection over here as well. So, I mean, in the actual ship, on board of the ship, these reflections actually look pretty cool, right? So even like see these white panels over here, you can see like the lights are reflecting in them, and the game still runs around 55 to 60 frames per second, right? So let's get into the cockpit. You know, these are small things that actually not necessarily, they don't necessarily make a huge difference on anything. But you know, look cool, I guess, right? Now look at the top of the screen. Now the window or the stuff is kind of very clear. There's nothing there. So let's turn on the other ray tracing option, ray traced transparent reflections. So these on reflections on the transparent surfaces like windows, and you can see these kind of reflections over here. Now that doesn't really make a huge difference, if you know what I mean, but you can see stuff being reflected on the windows, right? There's not much of it, but still, obviously performance took a dip as well. But so generally speaking, I'm not really much fussed about the second option, but it looks like it's pretty demanding. All right, so I'm getting around 60 to 55 frames per second on board of the ship. So let's turn on DLSS now, because that's what it's there for, to actually boost performance. Actually wrong display. So let's turn on DLSS and let's balanced, better. I know, let's try quality first, and let's do it and see. And look at it. I mean, I'm getting 70 frames per second in 1440p, 1440p, and I'm getting 70 frames per second. That's pretty impressive, I must say. All right, so now to further test the performance, let's do a quick trick. Let me actually double check something real quick. No, wrong. Display quality. Okay, that's fine. So let's fly to that planet, or however you want to call it.
Here we go.
That cutscene will take a minute or so, but generally speaking, I must say that this game looks really good. Obviously I'm not running this game at ultra quality, because that would overload my GPU. Also, I've got like 6 gigabytes of VRAM, so I mean DLSS actually helps a little bit, but still. I actually really like the fact that NVIDIA is really pushing DLSS and stuff. Apparently DLSS 3.0 is in the works, and it's supposed to be sort of ray tracing boosting kind of okay, let me, I hope I remember the code.
I get it. Gamora's codes are more like an encryption key.
Access granted. Yeah. Yeah, so performance in this game with all these stuff it also makes the game to look much better than even on next-gen consoles. And this is the thing, this is the power of machine learning. It's a shame that not many, actually no titles at all actually use it on consoles. So it's a bummer. Yeah, let me skip these cutscenes.
I still do not understand why I must remain on board with the assassin.
Oh, because you're part of... Listen, if died... That's her...
There we go. Yeah, the game looks really good. I like it. I really like it.
Together.
Very well.
Okay, so now we've got a little bit of open world area. Look at the reflections on the actual craft. up in the air.
Meet you at the rendezvous point.
Gamora, take care
There
of
you
my
go.
baby.
It's a ship, Peter, not a child.
Okay, so guys, 1440p DLSS quality and ray tracing, full ray tracing, and this is the performance I'm getting.
You guys sure you don't need help?
Well, there's some. I mean, these dips, big dips, that may have something to do with loading and stuff. I'm actually running this game off of my USB drive, so yeah, that's probably it. I should have moved it to the SSD. I mean, the performance is at least decent, I would say. Doesn't dip below 60. It actually holds above 60 frames per second for the most part. You can see the reflections on the even on this canister he's got on his back and stuff. Like there's some obviously reflective surfaces over here as well.
Pieces of a war that span the entire galaxy, held together by pink goo.
Ebrium-based nanoresin.
Yeah, the more objects on the screen, the more of a frame rate. But that was like a more like a cutscene. So yeah. Not much of a reflections on these objects, which is kind of weird. But,
Come on, dude. People probably died on that ship.
Killjoy. Why do you even bring us
I
here?
guess they are these are not that reflective. I
can
guess.
name at least a dozen planets with monsters on them. So why
Yeah, but
here?
oh, there we
You
go.
think
There's
it's
a
too
little bit of
impressive,
reflections
Gamora?
over here.
Like, hey, check
Like
out
a
the
rather
serious
low
intel I
quality.
got from, shady sources.
Please.
I guess it doesn't always make sense to put reflections on everything. So I must say that I'm pretty impressed with the way this game actually runs on a mobile RTX 3060. So if you've got a desktop RTX 3060 or anything more powerful, 1440p, you can actually even bump up the settings and stuff.
The three of us
Maybe you could
hanging
even
out,
try to
just
run
like when we
this game at
started
native
this
resolutions and
before
stuff,
you
right?
know who joined us.
With DLSS the game still looks
I do
good
not
and stuff,
hate
but
everybody. I tolerate Quill.
Come on, Rocket. Drax and Gamora
Yeah.
are valued additions to the team.
over 60
only
frames per
saying that
second
'cause
for the
he's
most
listening.
part.
Is that why your
That's
plan has
pretty
Drax
cool.
managing the ship?
Maybe. Hey, can't a guy want to spend some quality time with his friends?
So it runs much better than on consoles. I can tell you.
Pretty sure
That's
that
for
way's
sure.
a dead end.
Looks much
Sure.
better as well.
there we
And this
go.
is the
Pass
thing
this
with
way.
PC games,
Come
I guess.
on.
So guys, yeah, I mean, this is the game on my PC. Like I said, this is a gaming laptop. So if you guys are on the market for any for any
Comes in contact.
hardware to play games on, I mean, gaming laptops are actually a very sensible options, I would say. Because I was really getting really tired of high prices of the GPUs, desktop GPUs, and now finally I can. I didn't have to break the bank to actually get to have a decent performance with ray tracing and stuff, right? So I will leave the link in the description to the actual laptop I'm using if you're interested. So give it a
I'm okay.
give it a look.
I'm okay.
There's something there.
Didn't scare you, did I?
No.
Aw. You were
Yeah, guys.
worried.
Yeah, okay. So performance dipped big time in this section. Okay, so that's really the only one. I guess there was too much going on over here.
You mean the Ebrium-based nanoresin cluster foe?
Never trust something with that many
Yeah,
data.
so I guess it depends on the section, but
Watch it, Quill. Someone's been practicing.
I mean, worst case scenario, we can actually try to run it in balanced mode, which should give me couple of extra frames per second. Yeah. Okay, it's getting back to 60 now, or close, or maybe not.
Nice splatter. Hey, 50
Yeah, I
units
guess it
says
depends
more
on,
of these
you know,
suckers
this.
than you.
That's it.
I loaded this particular
Oh, what the?
kind of level over here because I think it's one of the most demanding ones. This is the most of the drops will happen because like there's a lot of objects over here and stuff, right? So you know, bear that in mind. So yeah, guys, that's the video. That's the performance in this game.
Amazing! I should have been recording. Bridge over, Groot. I want to see if he's alive.
Also remember that I'm using NVIDIA Shadow Play, so that's always impacts performance a little bit. So normally without me recording the gameplay, I would probably get like at least 2, 3, 4 frames more, right? So anyway, so guys, like the game runs around 60 frames per second for the most part in this game with ray tracing on and DLSS, so give it a try. I think it's worth it. The game is very, very good, by the way, so you know, really worth playing. So guys, that's the video. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Thanks for support. Really appreciate it. And I will see you all in the next one. Take care.
I shot a thing.
I get it.